Right guys, I'm just going to briefly chat about how to plan for a fishing trip or a day outing. Just a few little tips and things that you can think about to give yourself the best chance to have a successful outing. Right, I think the first thing that you need to consider is have you got enough time on your hand? Do you want to fish for a specific species, etc.? Or is it a scenario where you've only got this Saturday or next Sunday or whatever to fish, and that's your only opportunity, so you have to make the best out of it. Basically, the difference is, in the first scenario, you can go through your weather patterns, your sea, all the other stuff we'll be chatting about later, and you can pick the best day to suit a specific species, something that you want to catch. If you only got next Saturday to fish, or Wednesday afternoon or whatever, you look at the same things again, chat to people and decide what type of species and fish you're more likely to catch in those conditions. At least you'll have an idea what to target. We can basically divide your planning, etc., in two different sections. The first would be, and very important, is to gather all the available information, and the second, that is just as important, is proper preparation. Right, on the gathering of info, that's stuff like, let's say we're going to go and fish in Jeffreys Bay next week or next Sunday or whatever. What species of fish have been coming out the last few days or last week, what sizes, what type of baits, all that type of info. I suppose the easiest way is, if you've got friends or family or whatever that lives in Jeffreys Bay and fishes quite often, give them a call, send an email, whatever, and you can get some decent information there. Another good option, if you don't know people in the venue you want to go and try out, is tackle shops. I mean, we've got a few decent tackle shops in the Jeffreys area, Commercial Marine, TJ's Tackle, etc. All knowledgeable people. You've got lots of people coming in and out the doors bragging about their catches, so that's quite a valuable little pool of information as well. Another one, but it's a little more dicey, is internet searches, and you can speak to people you don't know and you can ask questions. It could be very valuable, but I mean, you can't be 100% sure that the information you're getting is actually what's happening on the ground. So I'll leave that one up to you. It's not really the route I'd like to follow. Another option is, if there's a reputable guide in the area, give him a call. Maybe he can go show you a few places, etc. So there is a few options to gather all the info that you need that will be relevant to your outing. Right guys, and then we get to the next step. You've got an idea now what's happening in the area, etc., what's biting. Now it's important to look at various different factors, and there's various reasons for it, and I mean, we can debate it for hours. Everybody's got their little 10 cents worth, but we can just go through it basically. We're looking at things like swell size, strength of wind, wind direction, water temperature, tides. There's loads of little variables, and it's information that's quite readily available, and hitting a few buttons on the internet can give you all that info that you need to help you out. Okay guys, there's some fantastic sites on the internet to check up on your weather, on your swell, on your wind direction, wind strength, all of those things. What I do on my phone and my laptop, I've got about 3 or 4 ones that I like using. I like to check 2 or 3 of them. If they all say more or less the same thing, then you can be fairly sure that's what's expected weather-wise, etc. But I think, just for the sake of ease, I'll just use WindGuru. I think it's the one most oftenly used for planning an outing. Right, we'll just click here on WindGuru Jeffreys Bay. And there's loads of things to look at, and this is just for our week ahead. And the top line there just gives you the average wind speeds for different sections of the day, like 3 hourly or 4 hourly in the top column there. The second row there is your maximum gusts, so in that 3 hours the biggest gust of wind you'll get will be whatever. Very importantly, next is your wind direction. It's very important. Different winds, easterly winds are normally better on your coast, but too much east can turn the water cold. West warms it up, lots of west creates big swells. So as you go along and you become more experienced, you'll realize that it's very important to keep a good eye on wind direction. Okay, and then next we've got wave heights and meters. That will also influence species. If you've got higher waves, it'll be better to fish in rocky areas, scratch for smaller fish. Flatter conditions are usually better for sharks and fish on the surf, etc. So also another important aspect to consider. Okay, and next we've got temperature. It's not really critical for fishing and species, etc. But make sure you put your suntan lotion on if it's going to be a hot day. Take more fluids, take an extra jacket on a cold day, so it'll help you with your planning as well. Okay, and next we've got cloud cover, and directly underneath it rain. Again, how much clothes to take with, etc. It's more for your own comfort really than fishing. And then the next row there is a Wind Guru star rating. I'm not sure what it's for, but I think it's for kite surfing, etc., which days will be better, but it's not really important for us. Then there's a whole new section. A lot of the detail and info is repeated, but there's a few very important things here to check as well. So make sure you check the top and the bottom section when checking out Wind Guru. You once again got wave period, which we've checked up there. And then the first important new info is wave period. What is wave period? The wave period is a second reading. It tells you what the time lapse in seconds is between two consecutive swells. So if the first wave hits the beach, in this first case, the next wave will hit the beach 15 seconds later. That's basically what it means. The basic rule of thumb with wave seconds and wave period is that the shorter the period, the better it is for fishing. It's not always the case, but generally shorter wave period creates more rolling water, more oxygen in the water, etc. With a longer period, the waves have more energy, more power, you get a bit more of a surge on the sea, etc. So that's basically what you look for there. And another very important one that I don't think a lot of people look at is swell. There's actually a nice example here that might explain it to you guys. If we look on Monday and you compare the wave height that we looked at before to the swell height, you can see there's quite a big difference. There's a difference in up to 3 meters. Basically, I can explain it like this. When I plan an outing or I look at the weather, I make sure to look both at the wave height and the swell size. If both of them are large, give it a miss. I'm talking about 3.5 meters, 4 meters, whatsoever. But like the case in Jeffreys, if you get a few days of nice weather or light easterly winds and you get a strong westerly blow like we've got here on Monday where it's blowing 20 knots, it shows a wave height of 4 or 5 meters, but that's actually wind waves out at sea. If your swell size is small, it could very well be that you could have some offshore wind here in Jeffreys. The sea could be brown and flat because there's no swell. There's just the wind wave out at sea. Right, it sounds like lots of bits and pieces, but I think if you spend time next to the sea, go and fish every possible chance you get, but make sure you do your homework before time. Remember what you see, remember what you saw on all the sites, weather-wise, swell-wise, water temperature, etc. And try and remember what you caught. If you haven't got a great memory, it's nothing better than keeping a little diary when you start out fishing, what bait you used, what the weather was like, what wind, all the things we spoke about, and what the results were, what tides you were fishing, etc. And it'll definitely help make your outings more successful.